Also today on Capitol Hill, we learn more about how Biden's henchmen were tracking their political enemies.
Just last night, I received the first set of records from the department regarding Tulsi Gabbard's placement on the TSA Quiet Skies watch list. These documents confirm our suspicions. Federal air marshals surveilled the now Director of National Intelligence during domestic flights in 2024, reporting back information related to her appearance and even how many electronics she was observed using. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated case.
The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is here with us for reaction. Madam Director, thank you for joining us. Now, you came on with us in August of 2024 when we first learned about this. What new can you tell us?
Well, first thing, Laura, I want to go back a little bit before then because it was an interview that I did with you during the end of July that really kicked off why I was placed on this list in the first place. I was talking to you about how Joe Biden had just stepped down. Kamala Harris was going to be the Democratic nominee, and I was warning the American people about how dangerous she would be for our country's security, the safety, security, and freedom of the American people if she were to become commander-in-chief. The very next day, this was in Rome, I got on a plane with my husband to fly back to the United States after having conducted meetings there in the Vatican with other Americans, that I was placed on this secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. What Senator Paul is talking about here are documents that confirm two things. One, that what I experienced and what whistleblowers came forward and exposed very early on in August is absolutely true. It goes into detail about what that surveillance consisted of. Some of the things Senator Paul mentioned, they had to report back, these federal air marshals who were surveilling me, about my appearance, about what kind of electronic devices that I had in my possession. Did I have any interactions with unknown individuals while traveling? The list goes on and on. But the second thing that these documents confirm is, once again, that it was absolutely politically motivated. And I know this because these other Americans who were attending the same meetings that I was at the Vatican, not a single one of them, to include former Trump administration officials, not a single one of them were put on this Quiet Skies list. And the only difference was they were not on your show the day before traveling back to the United States, or any show for that matter, publicly criticizing then Vice President Kamala Harris.
So they were trying to put the cone of protection around her, probably knowing that she was going to falter going forward. And this was a way to kind of make you step back from that when they were trying to intimidate you?
I think they were trying to intimidate me, but also they were trying to really create this chilling effect, probably knowing that I wouldn't stay silent about it and send a message out to people that if you go and criticize then Vice President Kamala Harris, who is now going to be the Democratic nominee for president, you too would face the consequences. And I am not the only person, by the way, under this Quiet Skies domestic terror watch and surveillance program that was targeted for political reasons. There are many people, one even the wife of a federal air marshal who happened to be in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, nowhere near the Capitol. She was on this Quiet Skies list for over 2 years and surveilled even when traveling with her federal air marshal husband. There are countless examples that we could go through once again that show very clearly the Biden administration's weaponization and politicization of the government against everyday Americans, violating our most fundamental constitutional rights and civil liberties.
Well, starting with the 2016 Trump campaign, the fraud of that, all the way through the fraud of Hunter Biden and the laptop, and the fraud of the border, and the fraud of every other policy, Afghanistan, that they lied about. But on this issue of the open skies, Quiet Skies list, is there a reason that list should exist at all at this point? Since it's,
no,
it's not.
This program has been going on for nearly 2 decades, and they have not. This Quiet Skies program that the TSA under the Department of Homeland Security has tasked to federal air marshals to execute, not a single terrorist has been caught. Not a single one, for as long as this program has existed. So instead, what is continuing to happen, so long as this program continues, is every single day, 40 or 50 federal air marshals are tasked with surveilling everyday Americans for no purpose, these arbitrary reasons that are put forward. The funny thing was that when senators started asking questions about my case in particular, the TSA started changing their story and making things up about why they were justified in putting me on this list. Once again, affirming the politicization of the federal government against the American people.
Well, this has to be zeroed out, never to be seen again. Madam Director, thank you very much for giving us the latest on this. We really appreciate it.